Hey folks, it's Stephan here, getting back to Goetia, and what I've decided to do is play the game without recording any voiceover, and then find the puzzles that I'm actually able to solve, go back and cut those pieces down, and then record over that so that we can make this walkthrough more interesting. You'll notice right now I'm looking at this suitcase reminder, Mother Edward, Father Robert, and what I'm thinking about is that there, on the big chart on the wall, there's a reference to a type of mineral associated with mother, father, sister, brother. So here we see that gold points to father, silver to mother, iron to brother, and copper to sister. And the suitcase didn't have a sister because Abigail was already dead, so there wasn't a sister listed. And she was talking about her own sons anyway. So what you notice, though, is if you look in the chart, you can find the symbols for those. So silver is in the first row, gold is in the fifth row, second column, iron is in the first row, first column, and copper, which isn't going to matter, is in the second row, fifth column. So now if we take those symbols and we look at the astrological chart down there that has numbers beside them, we can match them up and come up with the numbers that need to be used on the suitcase, which is a 4-digit lock. That first, if we look at silver first, it's actually the number 4 on here because it's turned. 4 goes with silver, which is mother. And then if we look at gold, it's actually the center of that sphere, and it has a 0 beside it. So that's 0 for father. And then iron is the symbol for Mars, or the male symbol. And we can see that that's 2 written beside that. So then the combination is made up of those 3 numbers. So go back and apply that on the suitcase. So first we have to turn the lights back on. And then click on the suitcase and interact with the lock. 4202. And it opens. And it's a family tree, and we can see Annie's children up on the top there. Abigail with the cross beside her, meaning she's deceased. Abraham is her father, he's deceased, and so on. Notes on the history of the Blackwoods. Judging by the notes I could gather here and there, and the research led by my ancestors, the first traces of the Blackwoods date back to the beginning of the, it looks like 19th century, but I think it's supposed to say 17th century. There are only sparse hints. Most of the useful information is from the last 2 centuries. The manor. According to the Register of Births, Blackwood Manor is fairly recent in the family's history. The residence, located close to Oak Marsh Village, was the fiefdom of the Blackwoods since its construction in 1623. I couldn't find where the Blackwoods came from before that, however. The manor as we know it today has little in common with the old building. Some parts have been added to the building, more or less in harmony with the original plan. The aviary in particular was one of Sir Edward Blackwood's whims, and was built between 1795 and 1798. The upper floors were apparently added on or made higher. The tower, that we named the observatory, is the last piece of the set and was added in 1812. As for the location of the manor, it seems it was built on the ruins of a medieval stronghold, itself built on ruins from the Roman era. Such reuse of a place is hardly uncommon, but there are few traces of its past nowadays. I managed to find a plan mentioning the old building in the eastern part of the estate, nevertheless. Additionally, our ancestors, Jonathan Blackwood, sponsored an archaeological mission on his estate in 1856. Numerous objects from the Roman era between 60 and 70 AD were unearthed. Pottery, amulets, cutlery, a few coins. With this discovery, Jonathan Blackwood became an honorary member of the London Society of Archaeology. A second team was commissioned to pursue further research, but the results were not mentioned anywhere. For some unknown reason, the main contractor seems to have disappeared along with his workers and equipment without even asking for payment. This last detail intrigues me. A simple disagreement between Jonathan Blackwood and the contractor would not have been cause for him to forget about remuneration. I believe that he fled after discovering something in the manor's basement, though the thought is both terrifying and fascinating. Among Blackwood's architectural curiosities, one in particular is noteworthy, the church. It is located in the center of Eldwich, a peculiar choice for a place of worship. The closest building is the watchtower. It was built in the 16th century and marks the limit of the estate. Crossing the forest in order to pray is quite the experience. I suppose this place was chosen for a reason, but what reason it may be escapes me. The history of this building is rather hectic. The first church was built in the 13th century and destroyed in 1537 when Henry VIII ordered the dissolution of the monasteries. Sir William Whitegate, Bishop of Coventry, had it rebuilt in 1551. It was completed in 1556. No Mass has been celebrated there since the start of the century. The Blackwood Lineage. There are several hypotheses regarding the origins of the Blackwood family, but it is quite difficult to make sure this information is indeed accurate. Some think that it is a branch of the Douglas clan which changed their name when they left the lowlands. In any case, everyone seems to agree that the lineage is of Scottish origin. There is mention of a departure from Stirlingshire in the 14th century when the first Blackwoods settled in the Western Midlands. About the same time, they were ennobled. Though the first Blackwoods' exploits cannot be denied, their descendants chose different occupations. One branch of the family has been known for its research in medicine and the study of the human body from the 17th century. It includes a few talented individuals, such as Cole Blackwood, who incurred the wrath of both the public and the church. As a court physician, he seemed to have an interest in studies that were morally reprehensible. Few documents mention the rest of his life, but there were rumors of sorcery and necromancy. True or not, Cole Blackwood seems to be at the base of the dark reputation of our lineage. Since then, our family has never stopped studying the sciences. This passion found its way into the family motto in 1742, Percipere docere, educate, teach, a credo that seems to connect the Blackwood lineage to a common goal that goes beyond our simple existence, and one that I am exceptionally fond of. This trait might become more and more pronounced with each generation. Father's obsession with education, research, and culture, in its broadest sense, has influenced my youth and my own concept of science in our lineage. I understand the full extent of it now. Though the Blackwood family now has numerous descendants, they all share this particular link in spite of the distance. We now have 2 professors, my father, a teacher of literature, a researcher in biology, and 2 physicians. Okay, we're changing gears a little bit and going back to this puzzle box that is in the last room of the manor on the ground floor. I thought I had figured this out, but I actually ended up stumbling across the answer. The words that you can spell with the revolving wheels, and the first position is jade, the second one is love, the third is moth, and the fourth is snow. But that is not what the answer ends up being. The answer ends up being John, and then the box will open. I'm not sure where John came from, so I don't know why that worked. I don't know what the clue was that would have led me to John. But this does uncover a secret room in the house, and that gives us access to something very powerful. You'll see here that the secret room is off the kitchen, which Abigail tells us. A sealed room next to the kitchen? I was unaware of it. I'd like to take a look. The trail led me to a map showing a hidden room next to the kitchen. It may have been sealed. I doubt a wall can stop me now. And we pop right into the secret room. And there's this glowing orb. A gigantic raven, demonic sigils, and now a bright orb that can levitate? And being ever cautious, I decide to find out what else is in the room before doing anything with that, even though it's clear I can possess it. Looks like a piece of makeshift furniture made out of wine crates. The old front door. I wonder where the other panel is. It's impossible to guess what it is. I mean, it looks like a hole in the wall to me. Seems like it would go somewhere, but I couldn't interact with it further. I feel strangely drawn to this shape. Abigail is now able to see traces or details about the history of the most recent owner of an item. Possess an item and explore with it for a moment to see if something else is highlighted. The last actions of the living might help you in your quest. So it's pretty cool. I think it's called the Power of Vision. That's the achievement that you get for it. And we will see it in use in just a few moments. I earned some kind of power? I can feel things emanating from some objects. It's hard to explain. It's as if I could see traces of what happened around the object. It could certainly prove useful. So we have a collection of some objects in that room, the box was in, so we can go and find some of those. First, check to see if we can do anything with the pendant, but we cannot. Now we pick up the journal. You'll notice that there's a sort of sepia overlay in the color now, and that tells you that when you pick up an object, it is going to let you reveal something with it. It doesn't tell you where it's going to reveal it, though. And I actually decide to switch to the feather quill, and you can see it's gone sepia toned again. And now I bring it into the other room. My thinking initially was maybe I need to put it in the ink pot. There's the ink pot, so we try to drop it in there, but with no success. So we pick it up again and take it upstairs, and it happens to have been just the right place to go. And as soon as we get high enough into the room, we can see these handprints and an opening in the wall. How come I didn't see these scratches? I recognize this. My treasure box. And it's a box of stuff with some twine and some dice and a candle and a pencil and some sort of a piece of paper. This isn't mine. And it says Abigail, so it's the sigil for her name. I'm sure I didn't draw this. Is this a sigil? It looks like those that Father studied, but none of them was called Abigail. If this is a joke, it's not a very funny one, and I'm starting to get scared. There's no one here, everything seems to be frozen in time, and the manor is covered in esoteric symbols. I must find answers. A ball of string I used in my many adventures. Some dice I used to play with anywhere. Something to write with even in the darkness of night. My old treasure box remains intact, but I wasn't expecting to find it here, and with a mysterious item added to my own collection no less. A sigil similar to those of the Goetia, but with my name on it. This item, what it suggests, terrifies me. And that's some pretty good progress for this episode, so I hope you have enjoyed the video. If you did, please remember to like, share, and subscribe, and I will talk to you next time.